James Lynch here for MiddleEasy. Happy to be joined by the number 7th ranked welterweight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy, how you doing?
Doing great, my man. Doing great. Glad to be on with you. How you been?
I've been well. Not as good as you though, man. You've been killing it with the YouTube channel and everything else. I've been following you along on social media. But before we get into all that, man, we just had UFC 270 on the weekend. Had to get your thoughts on that. What did you think of Francis Ngannou's performance over Ciryl Gane, using a bit of wrestling in that fight and getting it done?
Yeah, man. You're seeing the evolution of Francis Ngannou's MMA. He's known as being a knockout artist, a striker. But hey, man, he had to adapt out there. And the fight was going the way I thought it was going to go with Ciryl Gane, just outstriking him, making him hit and miss in the first 2 rounds. And then Francis Ngannou ended up hitting takedowns. It's like, what? So I'm glad to see that he's kind of evolving. And yeah, man, that's why he's the champ.
What did you make of Ciryl in I think it was the 5th round, going for that submission? He kind of made a mistake there, and then Ngannou ended up on top of him. I know you're a karate guy, but you also do some jiu-jitsu. What did you think of that?
I mean, it was crazy. It was one of those things like, hey, man, I got to get this thing, or I'm losing this fight. Got to go for this submission. But when you're doing that, it's kind of risky because your opponent can change position and end up on top of you, and that's what happened. So Gane's probably beating himself up about it, but it is what it is. Obviously we all got things we got to go back and work on, but Francis Ngannou, like, what's next for that guy? I have no idea. Is it John Jones? I mean, who does he fight next?
Well, that's the question, because there's some problems with him in the UFC. I don't know if you noticed Dana White not putting the belt on him, not even at the press conference after. What do you make of this whole situation? I know you're happy, you got a new contract, but with Ngannou, seems like they're at odds.
Yeah, man, and that's one of the things, with the UFC, and I know he's the baddest man on the planet. He is the biggest and baddest dude on the planet at this point, especially in MMA. And making what they say he made $600,000 or something like that. Yeah. And you got other heavyweights in the boxing industry making 30 million. So I kind of see why he's a little upset. But it's not boxing. We're not boxing. We're doing MMA. But I kind of see where he's coming from. But if he's not with the UFC, what's he going to do? Have that one fight with Tyson Fury and that's it? You know what I mean? Is he going to go heavyweight boxing? I think that would be a mistake for him, to be honest with you.
Well, and not just that, how does that even work? He's still the UFC champion. When have we ever seen a champion, I think other than maybe BJ Penn way back in the day, leave the UFC as champion? It just doesn't happen. So there's a lot of red tape there in terms of the contract and stuff. No, I'm not smart enough to figure that out, but it's still an interesting situation to see how this unfolds, because we've never really had this with the heavyweight champion.
No, not at all. So it is it's kind of weird at this point, but I want to see how all that goes down. Is he going to leave? I mean, is the UFC are they going to keep him? I don't know. I don't know what he does. I think everybody's want to go to the boxing route, man, and make that money.
Yeah, no, it certainly seems that way. Co-main event, very close fight between Deiveson Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno. It is Deiveson Figueiredo who ends up as the flyweight champion. How did you score that fight? Because some people felt like Moreno did enough to win.
No, I had for Figueiredo winning that fight. It was fairly close, but he definitely won it. And it was one of the most epic fights, man, of the night, and probably the most recent fights we've seen. It was such a good fight. And now they're thinking about fighting again, like at number 4. I bet you the guys underneath them are pretty pissed to hear that.
Oh, I bet.
But we'll see if that even happens, if that's the thing. Because the first time they fought to a draw, right? So now they're 1-1. So do they do it again? Do they go 4?
Sounds like it. Sounds like there's a lot of chatter on there, but we'll see what happens. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of other flyweights who are like, hey, when am I going to get my turn, right? So it's because it's the first time I think in UFC history that the same title fight has happened 3 times in a row, right? Like you don't see that happen too often, right?
No, you don't see that happen at all. So, I mean, why not make it happen again? So, I would definitely watch that fight again. Every time they fight, they scrap and they put on a show. So I would pay to watch that.
Absolutely. Speaking of recent fights, we haven't spoken since your fight against Belal Muhammad. I know it's a bummer. No one wants to talk about a loss, but I'm sure you've had time to reflect on it. What did you take away the most from that performance?
Yeah, I don't mind at all, man. I've been talking about it since it's happened, especially with my coaches. Obviously disappointed. I would say a minute in, I was dead. I felt like my legs going into the fight. I knew that in the back, like 2 fights in, my legs felt like lead. I didn't have the bounce. I didn't have the movement. I don't think the rehydration process went the way we wanted it to go. And that's what I'm thinking, because the weight cut was good, but I think the rehydration maybe didn't get some, the potassium and the magnesium in, because I just felt like lead. I was exhausted, muscle wise, but definitely got some things to work on. That's part of it. You got to make sure that the weight cut and the rehydration process is all part of the game, and make sure that's on point. I was fully prepared for that fight. Just didn't have the energy to defend the takedown after the first round.
Like the honest assessment. Speaking of honest assessments, we're finally getting Colby and Masvidal. Just your reaction to that fight finally being made. I didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are, and it's going to be happening here at UFC 272, I think.
Yes, I'm excited. I can't wait for this fight to happen. I mean, once friends, and that's what I've been seeing with the UFC. They're hyping it up. They're putting out videos of them buddies, high-fiving each other before they go out there, and now they're bitter enemies. Like, what's that press conference going to look like? I'm excited for that. I'm more excited in that press conference than I am in the fight. Like, what's going to be said? Because they know their deepest, darkest secrets, man. And they're all going to lay it out there. But I think it's going to be a great fight. And the last time I had a wrestler anybody beating Masvidal, he knocked him out.
It's true. Ben Askren,
on paper, I have Colby Covington. But, I knew that Ben Askren was going to beat him, knocked him out in the first round. I knew that Darren Till was going to beat him. He gets knocked out by George Masvidal. So I'm not betting against him this time. So I'm excited for this fight. It's going to be a great matchup. He's used to that. He's went several rounds with the champion who beat Colby Covington. But Colby Covington's endurance, his sheer will to win and cardio is just ridiculous. So that's one thing he always has in his pocket, the cardio, the wrestling. But we gotta see what George Masvidal's been working on as well. He's working on his wrestling like always, and he's not afraid to fight wrestlers. He's got great takedown defense. His jiu-jitsu is good. He's dangerous on his back. So that's going to be a fun fight to watch for sure.
So by the sounds of it there, you're favoring Masvidal in this fight. I just want to make sure we're correct here. Like, if I gave you, bag of money here, who are you putting it on?
Man, if you gave me a bag of money, I'm going Colby. But, last time I bet against him, man, he's finished him. He's finished guys. So it's hard to be fully set on Colby. Mm-hmm. I've fought Masvidal, so I want Masvidal to win.
For sure. Okay, that makes sense. The other fight that it's not 100% confirmed, although Dana White seems to be hinting it is next, Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman. Is that the right call in your opinion, with Leon getting the title shot? Finally.
It's been a long time coming. He should have had that fight a year ago, but obviously he's been playing that game a little bit, and I know that can piss some people off, waiting to fight. But he finally got it, and I think he's got a good chance to win. You've seen his evolution in MMA as well. He first came out just being a full-on striker. Now he's taking guys down. His takedown defense is good. He was kind of out wrestling Belal Muhammad when they fought, especially in the clinch. So I think he's got a good chance to beat the champion. To kind of mix the welterweight division up a little bit.
And kind of same question as last time. Do you think Edwards will win, or again, would you probably put your money on Usman? I mean, he's looked pretty great since being the champ, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd put my money on Usman for sure, but I would love to see Edwards win it.
Okay, like it. And then just last fight, again, not confirmed. I want to mention that, just like the last one. Khamzat Chimaev, Gilbert Burns. It seems like that's likely going to happen. I believe they verbally agreed, but nothing set in stone. What do you make of that matchup? Is that the right opponent for Chimaev, first? And second, who would you pick in that one?
Man, that's a good one. I fought Gilbert Burns, and I don't think he's going to fight me the way that, I don't think he's going to fight him the way he fought me. He's going to be looking for his submissions off the takedown. He's going to be looking for that guillotine, for sure. So, he's going to be submission savvy in this fight. And, Khamzat Chimaev, he's a strong wrestler, but he can strike as well. So that's a dangerous opponent for anybody out there, especially Gilbert Burns. He's got the shorter reach. He's the shorter opponent. And I hear Chimaev is very tall, very long, and he can put that to good use. I think Chimaev can win it.
Okay. Same deal, though. Would you put money on him, though? Because I imagine the odds are going to be close, even with Burns having obviously more, quality opponents. Chimaev, there's a lot of hype behind this guy, right?
There is a lot of hype behind the guy, and the guy's got the, I'm along for the ride, man. The guy's been showing out. He's been beating guys, and not just beating them, but just destroying them out there. So yeah, I would put my money on Chimaev.
When are you looking to get back in there? I know, you just fought in December. Is there sort of an ideal timeline for you to get back in the cage?
Well, I want to get back in April. I got an MRI I got to do on my collarbone. It's been killing me after the last fight when Belal Muhammad picked me up and threw me down. I ended up putting my arm out and landed. We both landed on my shoulder and kind of jacked my collarbone up. So I'm still training, but usually after every training session, it's giving me some problems. I think it's torn cartilage, which I've done in the past. So kind of an old injury that's kind of flared back up. But I want to fight again in April. Not sure who yet, but we'll get with my management team and the UFC, and we'll see what's up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw two names out at you right now. I always like doing this. We did this last time and I actually was right on one of the opponents, right? I think I said Magny and Belal, right? So you ended up fighting Belal. Okay, so here are the two ones. I'm going to start with one because this has been in the news already. Sean Brady. Now, he's come out and kind of called you out a bit. I know Sean's a really respectful guy and all that, and I know you're not a trash talker either, but he's been calling you out a little bit. Is that a fight you think makes sense? Or, of course, he just beat Michael Chiesa.
At this point, I would say let's hold off on the wrestlers real quick.
Okay.
The last few guys have been I just got obliterated, and a strong wrestler like Sean Brady. I definitely got some things to work on, but I'm looking for somebody with a little bit more of a striker at this point.
Okay, so if not him, here's another opponent I was kind of thinking of. The guy he beat, Michael Chiesa. Now, I know he's a ground guy, but still, he'll strike a bit too. Is that a fight that interests you? Plus, he's got a bit of name value there as well, right?
Yeah, man, you're seeing a lot of Michael Chiesa. I think he would be a good opponent for sure. Definitely not the Sean Brady out of the two. I would definitely do the Michael Chiesa for sure. So, okay. I mean, he does have a name, and he's a good buddy of mine too. So, I think that would be a fun one.
If you two were to fight, stylistically, how do you look at that fight?
Obviously, I'm going to try and keep the fight standing because jiu-jitsu is good. I've been working on mine. I mean, you saw his last fight with Vicente Luque getting submitted. That's kind of always been a thing. I've seen him get, start wrestling guys and him kind of wrestle himself into a submission, like that, getting stuck in a guillotine or triangle. I think it was Anthony Pettis that submitted him, right?
Yes, yeah, I believe so.
It was Anthony Pettis that submitted him. So that was at 155, I believe. But he's doing work at 170. I think I got to strike him. I can outmove him for sure. If we fought, I'm definitely going to keep the fight standing. But he fights fairly stiff. He fights fairly stiff. Maybe that's why he's so strong. He's just got that muscle. You know what I mean? So I think it would be a fun fight. It would definitely be one of those jiu-jitsu versus karate guys again.
Okay, I like that. And I'll just throw one last one out of here, okay? Because I just thought of it. And I know there was rumors about this fight years ago. I don't think it'll happen because of the rankings, but Robbie Lawler, would that not be a fun fight? He would strike with you. He's a vet. He's a former champion. Would that not be kind of a fun fight?
I think that would be a really fun fight, especially for the fans. I've been trying to fight this guy since he was, obviously champion. So I think that would be a great fight. Even though he's not ranked at this point, I would love to step out in the eye. It would be an honor to fight a legend. And exciting. It would be an exciting fight. Just two guys going out there and striking it up. That would be awesome. I like where your head's at.
There you go. I need my 10% if they end up booking that one. So just going to let you know that. Okay. Most important question in the interview. Last question of this interview. Have you watched season 4 of Cobra Kai? And if you have, what did you think?
I haven't watched all of it yet. So no spoiler alerts, please.
Okay. No worries. I haven't watched it either. I was just curious your thoughts. Yeah.
I was finishing up what is it? Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
I kind of stopped and I went back to it, finished up the Mandalorian, and now I'm getting back to the Cobra Kai. So I started, obviously, starting off, it's awesome. I love it. I've actually met most of the crew being out there in Atlanta. Was supposed to be in season 5, but that didn't work out because I had a fight coming up. So hopefully we'll be able to get things go around and be in season 6, so they have a season 6. But great people, man. I love it. I love the acting. It's great because I grew up watching these guys, and actually being in the same room and being able to chat with these guys was awesome. So I've been watching this since I was on YouTube. They started the first season on YouTube. So I will continue to support the Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid Cobra Kai, my friend. I love it.
Well, you'd have to be a good guy if you were on Cobra Kai, right? You can. I don't think you could play a bad guy. No offense, you're the NFF. You got to live up to the title, right?
I know, man, but well, you just have to see. You just have to check it out. You just have to
Okay, I
watch.
like that. We call that a teaser in this business. So I like that. That's good. Wonder Boy, thanks so much. I know you're in the car. You got places to go, people to see, classes to teach. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media and anything you got going on your YouTube channel or sponsors, anything like that. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, man, check out the channel, man. We had our podcast up yesterday, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. What's Up, Everybody podcast. We got a really cool one coming up this week, Day in the Life of. So go check it out. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Wonderboy MMA and Facebook, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I appreciate you having me on, my friend. Always fun.